privileged enough to work with a volunteer from the Member Advisory Committee, or the MAC, on this heart-to-heart leader chat. And the subject of our leader chat today is troop budgeting and finances. And so during the webinar, everyone will be on mute. You can use the chat box to ask questions, and we'll answer those at the end. Or you can ask to be unmuted, and we can also do it that way. And the presentation is not going to last very long, but then we'll have plenty of time to answer questions at the end. Troop budgeting is what we're going to talk about today, mostly. And today we'll talk about the basics. Whatever grade level your troop is, there's always an opportunity to practice girl-led planning by involving girls and their opinions in the budgeting process. Most often, troops create an overall budget for the year based on activities they wish to complete. Always remember that a troop budget is a plan, and just like all plans, they are flexible and adjustable because you always have changing circumstances and possibly new opportunities. A budget usually includes income, or the amount of money you think you will have to work with, and expenses, the amount of money that will be needed to pay for any and all planned activities. As we talk about planning and troop finances, stop and consider what determines how and where your family spends money. Most families make decisions about activities and trips after basic expenses of life are taken care of. It should always be like that in a troop budget. Although it is usually more fun to talk about trips and overnights and parties, your role as the leader is to moderate that conversation by asking questions so that girls, just like in a family, have plans that are realistic and achievable. The best lesson girls can learn from the budgeting process is to stay within their means and not rely on some kind of magic money growing on trees to pay for activities. Setting realistic goals for both Cookie and Treats and Reads program is a valuable way to teach girls the power of goal setting. The proceeds from product programs form the core of troop funding. Whether it's in a troop-level program earning badges and journeys, trying out source programs, planning camp adventures, or an extended trip to another state or country, it all starts with a budget. Our agenda today will cover the three following questions. Where will the resources come from to support the troops' activities? We will talk about the learning that happens when girls participate in our product programs and not only earn the funds, but also decide how they want to spend their earnings. The next item is what things should be paid for by troop funds. A look at expenses you should think about when planning your troop budget. In order to make the troop girl-led, we will describe how girls at each level, grade level, will be involved in financial planning and decision-making. Each question will be answered using information from Volunteer Essentials and the Troop Management Participant Guide. Before we start, there's one quick and important budget lesson for both girls and adults to remember. Expenses should be less than or equal to income. You'll notice I did not say that income should be more than expenses. You want to make sure that you're planning with an eye on expenses reducing rather than income increasing. For troop income, let's talk about sources of troop income that fund the troop activities. We all know that both product programs are important sources of girl leadership programming. Learning the 5 skills is a key benefit of selling cookies and treats and reads. But did you know that the Girl Scout product program is the largest girl-run business in the world? Girls not only learn marketing, customer service, goal setting, and money handling, they also make decisions on how their profits are used. When a troop sets goals for their product program, they are also setting goals for activities they will fund with the proceeds. Most troop expenses should be covered by those proceeds. Another income source could be troop dues. Troop dues are sometimes collected to teach responsibility and also supplement troop income. Occasionally, troops will decide to go to a special event or hold a special event that is funded by a fee or assessment that the child's caregiver agrees to pay. This should be the exception rather than the rule to financing activities. The troop leader should be cautious when deciding that an event will be covered by parents to assure that some girls are not left out because they're not able to pay the fee. If a Brownie grade level or older Girl Scout troop decides that they need additional income to support a specific activity, they can also apply to hold an additional money earning project. The first step is to complete the money earning application form and submit it for approval by your membership specialist. In Volunteer Essentials on page 75, there is a list of acceptable money earning projects. Girl Scouts who participate in additional money earning must have written permission forms signed by their parent or caregiver. We want to make sure that you check the troop finance pages in Volunteer Essentials to make sure your troop is not earning money in ways that are not approved by Girl Scout Heart of Michigan's Volunteer Board of Trustees. In Chapter 5 of Volunteer Essentials, Money Management, there are sections of the chapter highlighted and in a box. And these are policies that all volunteers and troops must follow. There are also procedures and ways of work that we use when handling troop money. The next part of the budget equation is the fun and funding. These are the expenses that happen when you provide programs, go on trips, or host events. In other words, when the troop does fun stuff. Excuse me. Planning for the year will have some basic expenses, and these should be budgeted first. This might include paying for part of the girl membership registration, supplies needed for ceremonies and recognitions, expenses for leader training or program books. Other items may include buying snacks, first aid supplies, program supplies, and anything else needed to complete badge, journey, or fun activities. Usually a troop plans its field trips and other adventures to work along with their badge or journey themes. They become an extension of the learning experience. Girls use their imagination, research, and your guidance to determine a fun and affordable adventure. Source programs are a great way to add value to your Girl Scout experiences, and there are many options in every region. Here's have the idea that girls deserve a huge end-of-the-year park, trip, or celebration, and reserve much of their troop income for that event. This often means taking away from the other parts of the Girl Scout experience, like being outdoors or trying some new activities. When planning with girls, a quality experience that supports leadership development, experiential learning, and learning about our diverse world is always more valuable than the show at Chuck E. Cheese or a water slide at the Big Bear Lodge. Parents, families, and girls are especially proud when a ceremony or court of awards is planned with troop funds. This is something that your troop should really consider planning in their budget because it's so important for girls to be recognized for the awards that they earn. A troop leader can decide to make financial assistance available from troop funds for girls who may need it in order to fully participate. This financial assistance does not need to be dispersed equally, but as needed by individual girls. Girls can also, as an expense, choose to donate some of their troop funds to a worthy cause. Although they cannot raise money for other organizations, they can vote to use some of their proceeds and make a donation. When troops plan a large adventure or trip, they will often develop another budget just for that event. This allows girls to make decisions about the trip within the framework of the money allotted in the troop budget for that trip. So it's a budget within a budget. When it comes to budgeting, depending on the age of the girls, there are several ways that girls can be involved. And this list of activities that girls can do comes from the Troop Management Guide for Leaders, the Participant Guide. And it talks about how Girl Scout daisies can be informed about the troop treasury, but the leader really remains in control of the budget and finances. Girl Scout Brownies start to discuss the cost of activities, and they learn to set goals and participate in council-sponsored product programs. Again, the leader manages the budget and the final financial records, but the girls are involved and have an idea that things cost money when you do them. Up the progression ladder, Girl Scout juniors can decide on the amount of troop dues, they can budget for short-term needs, And again, they can also continue to set those goals and participate in product programs. The girls now are at an age where they can understand how much they have in the bank and what their checkbook register looks like and how money seems to magically disappear as you spend it. The cadet and senior and ambassador Girl Scout levels are where girls really can take the reins with planning, estimating costs, determining where they're going to go and what they're going to do based on their budget, and that they can actually keep the budget and keep some financial records with leader direction. Having that sense of ownership over the troop funds makes them responsible for their decisions. Overall, the leader will always retain responsibility for the financial records at the end of the year. That no matter what age Girl Scout, they can always be a part of the decision making around the activities that they're going to be doing. The items listed on the sample troop budget come directly from the Troop Check Register and Troop Finance Report available on Girl Scouts Heart of Michigan website. It's on the website under Volunteer, Resources, Forms, and Documents. There are two versions of this troop budget, and the Excel version, where a leader can save the Excel spreadsheet and automatically enter her checkbook register into there with the income or expense categories as listed on this sheet. And there are drop-downs where she can actually choose which category the expense or the income falls into. There's also a PDF version that is not fillable, and a leader who is not as comfortable using an online or to complete the finance report for the end of the year. On the last page of this spreadsheet, of this presentation, we do have some links to some finance forms, and I think what will be easier is to pull them up from these PDFs. And so the first form that we talked about was the Troop Money Earning Application, again available on the website. And the Troop Money Earning Application is a one-page sheet, and you will see that it does ask about participating in the 2 council-sponsored product programs, because that is one of the things we look for before girls do additional money-earning activities. The other thing is the reason for the money-earning activity. It shouldn't be just to build the coffers of a troop. It should be for a specific activity. There's also a requirement that additional money-earning projects may not be held during United Way campaigns or regional product sale programs. Once you submit and the area manager sends this form along to the membership specialist, it can either be approved, or perhaps the membership specialist will call and talk to you about how it might be amended so that it fits into our policies and procedures, or perhaps it's just not going to work at this time. The troop checkbook register is shown, and you can see that the categories can be put in for your expenses, the type of expense or income, and then your balance. And then the second part, the finance report, those balances will be carried right to this spreadsheet for the end of the year report. The last link that's on the page is the Troop and Area Finance Policies and Procedures, and these are all in Volunteer Essentials, starting in Chapter 5. At this point, if you have any questions, we can take questions. Mariella, did you want to unmute folks, or?
I can certainly unmute everybody, yes. Okay,
Thank
everybody's unmuted right now, yep.
Are there any questions? Anything you want to discuss?
Connie, there's a question in the chat box. Can troop funds be used to pay for a leader's first aid and CPR training?
Yes. The answer to that is yes. They can be used to pay for troop leaders training.
Another question here coming up says, do you still have to include the bank statements with year-end finance reports?
Yes, Chris, thank you. We have another webinar that was actually about year-end finance reports, and that is a part of it, that you do have to include a current bank statement with them. For this webinar, it was merely to show that the leader retains, that's the level of control that the leader retains, and that for budgeting purposes, that you can track that on your check register quite easily. But thanks, Chris.
I don't know, Connie, I can type your email here in the chat box.
I'm sorry?
I can type your name in the chat, your email in the chat box.
Okay, that'd be great.
So if anybody has any questions that come up.
I see the question, how do you determine how much troop dues should be? Generally, I believe that that's a decision that when you have a parent meeting, you really should discuss that amount with parents. The amount is going to depend on how frequently you meet, how long the meeting is, the age of the, depend on the expectations of the parent. Are you providing the snack, or are they providing the snack? You know, do you have expenses that occur every time you meet? Perhaps you have to pay a fee. I mean, not that we like to pay a fee to use the building, but maybe there's something that you need to budget for every time, and so having that in the troop dues is perhaps reasonable. One of the things is that you don't have to do a craft at every troop meeting, and so you want to make sure that the dues that you decide on with your troop and with your girls and with their families is something that the girls can afford and that the families can afford.
Sorry, I went ahead and muted participants because there was a little bit of background noise there. So,
okay,
I'll be more than happy to unmute anybody again, or if they want to. Either way, and I put your email in the chat box as well.
Thank you. Thank you. I think that most questions revolving around troop budgeting and finance, most of the questions revolve on how am I going to get money for my troop. And I think that the best answer is by really looking at the product sale program and how you can motivate your girls, how you can get them excited about that program. It is the easiest one to promote, and it really is the best way to finance your troop. It's the one that girls want to join Girl Scouts so that they can sell cookies. And I think that in and itself makes it a successful money-earning project. The next question is mostly about what kind of things can we do to do additional money earning. And a lot of those ways to bring money into the troop are in the Chapter 5 of Volunteer Essentials, the volunteer or the troop finance policies. And there are quite a few things that we're not allowed to do, basically because we're a nonprofit organization and that we are a member of a large national organization that has some policies. And a lot of those policies are also approved by our board of directors. I don't know if there's anything else. I'm glad that everyone could come and take some time out of their lunch hour to listen to this webinar. There will be another one tonight at 7 p.m.
And I wanted to mention that we add the webinars in our website as well. If there's something that you would like to go back and check afterwards, within a couple of weeks or so, or within a week or so, it should be uploaded in our website for reference for everybody else too. So,
and I want to thank Mariella for helping me facilitate my first webinar experience.
You did it all. I didn't do a thing. Oh, there is a comment here in the chat box. Keep in mind that when you're doing an additional money-earning project, girls should be involved in planning and carrying out the project from beginning to end.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Well, I guess that's it for today. And I try again. I think the next webinar could be on product sale.
Right. And you're getting some thank yous here in the chat box. Was very helpful information. So great job.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Have a great rest of the afternoon and stay warm.
And if you have more questions, oh, you're snowed out. If you have more questions, make sure to send them to my email, and I'll get right back to you. Thank you.
Thanks. Goodbye.